Hey everybody, welcome to Evan and Robert Talk Niners. It's been a while since we brought this to you guys. I mean, it was since the draft, and it's been almost 2 weeks. But a lot of things has happened since then, and we just wanted to jump on and talk about some of those things, as well as share with you our experience from the NFL draft, and also our thoughts on the draft as well. So, first of all, uh, I'm Robert, and with me I have Evan. So say hi, Evan.
So,
So, Evan, what was your thoughts on the NFL draft experience, and what were some of the favorite things that you saw over there?
I thought the draft experience was great. I think it was good for like any age. I really enjoyed seeing a lot of a lot of NFL fans, mostly Cleveland and Pittsburgh guys. But the stadium, my first time being in an NFL stadium, I thought it's actually really nice. It's a good day out when we went, and but it's really a lot smaller than I expected. Um, Probably my favorite thing at the draft were uh, the stage. I mean, we couldn't really see it from where we were, but it looked great.
It was pretty cool. I thought that Cleveland had a great setup for it. The backdrop of the city and everything was pretty awesome too. And you're right. That stadium was is pretty nice. I don't think there's a bad seat in the house for a game. If you ever went to Cleveland to go watch a game, I thought the way that their stadium set up was pretty nice. And we talked about it and we said that we would love to go back there and catch a game there someday. I think it'd be a pretty fun experience. Um, yeah, I mean the NFL draft experience. If you guys have never been to the NFL draft or had the experience of that, definitely check one out in the future. I think next year it's going to be in New Las Vegas, and hopefully we get a chance to go out there again. It'll be a lot of fun. Um, I think meeting a lot of the fans out there, fans from other teams, Niner fans, those kind of things, that was pretty cool. And getting a chance to talk to other fans as well, and just hearing about their stories and how they became fans. And if you're a football fan, I think you'll enjoy it. So um, I thought it was a great experience. Cleveland was a very nice town. The people were very nice, and I definitely enjoyed my time there. So. Evan, what are some of your thoughts on the 49ers draft?
Um, I I think they filled every hole that was needed. I think going back to our first video, we said we wanted two corners, two offensive linemen, a quarterback, a safety, and an edge, but we didn't get one. But overall, I think we filled holes, and I thought we got some really good players.
Yeah, I definitely think we got kind of what we wanted, right? Maybe not the players that we wanted, but um, after watching the draft and after seeing who we selected and going back and watching that film on those players, I think they were great fits into what we're trying to do. Um, you know, uh, I know the linemen that we got were not our typical linemen, the smaller, faster guys, but these guys, they're powerful, they're bigger guys, great pass protectors, and that's an area that we've kind of struggled with was pass protecting. So I'm glad that we got these guys. I love the running backs that we got. I mean, we talked about that. I think you had mentioned that our room was already pretty good, and you also talked about how we're preparing for the future, and I think that's definitely true. I can see us not bringing back a couple of position players like that we filled up in this year's draft. We talked about the running backs, and my thoughts on that was the draft of Trey Sermon reminds me a lot of Ricky Waters back in the 49ers days with Mike Shanahan, the way he runs, the way he powers through people, the way he catches balls and turns around and runs out of the backfield, screen passes, those kind of things. And then, I told you that Elijah Mitchell, the way he's a one cut, breaks through the hole and just takes off, reminds me a lot of Terrell Davis back with the Broncos in the Mike Shanahan days. And not saying that they're going to be those type of players, but their styles, the way they play, just reminds me of that. And if they become those players, then I think that that'll be pretty awesome. And you get Trey Lance on top of it. I think you kind of see what I think you can. For me, I can kind of see that the Niners might be implementing some of those offenses, some of those uh, game plans from Mike Shanahan's days into the current 49er system. And I'm excited to see that because as a kid, I love watching those plays. They were for us, it was super exciting back then. And for people to get to see that come up again, hopefully here with the current Niners, it's gonna be it's gonna be some pretty cool stuff. So um, yeah, uh, any additional thoughts on that, Evan?
Um, no, yeah, no, except maybe we could have gotten uh true safety, like coverage safety, I think,
Uh,
and maybe a
I
center.
think okay. I mean, I can see that. Those are definitely positions for the future that we're thinking about. Where, um, you know, there's kind of I think the Niners have guys there right now that definitely fill up those roles. But in the future, it would have been nice to be able to groom somebody like that at those positions. And you're right about that. But overall, I mean, I feel like the Niners did a pretty good job on the draft with the holes that we have now and um, what we're trying to do for the future. But yeah, definitely next year with our picks next year, those are definitely some spots that I can see that we're gonna have to fill up next year. So, um, but anyways, overall, what'd you think?
I thought it was a great draft.
Okay,
There, I mean, I don't think with the picks we had, it could get better than that.
okay, yeah, I mean, definitely. So, what do you think about Trey Lance?
Uh, I th the more, I mean, I was higher on Justin Fields, but coming out and watching more of him when we drafted him, you could see that. I mean, he has everything you want in a quarterback. He has the quality of leadership. He's an all around great guy. He donates to like hospitals and stuff like that. I think he's just a guy you want to lead your franchise.
Okay,
When Jimmy is your starting quarterback, you didn't really see any of that.
yeah.
He
So,
just like he was just like a guy.
so he's kind of like what Shanahan was talking about, kind of like the CEO type of player, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So somebody who
but
could
he's
step
only
in and
21, and that's crazy. Or 20.
yeah, I think that's cool. I mean, we've seen him lead the team on the field, but knowing that he can come in and be a leader for your team off the field too, I think that's some pretty cool stuff there. And that's something that you haven't seen much from. I mean, you don't see it all the time from players, and to be able to see that from your quarterback, it reminds me of like when Drew Brees signed with the Saints back in the days. It reminds me of those kind of things. So, I mean, hopefully it turns into something like that. But yeah, definitely excited to see that. That's what a quarterback like Trey Lance can bring to your organization. So cool stuff. What about his play on the field?
Um, I think there could be like some work, but overall, I think he's or now that I think about it, he's one of the well, I didn't really have him like in my or I had him like as my fourth quarterback, but I think now, um, including all his talents, like athleticism, stuff like that, I think he has a chance to be like I think he's like one or two or three, sorry.
I believe that where a quarterback goes in the draft can play a big role. And I think all the quarterbacks went to good situations. My favorite quarterback out of the draft is still Justin Fields, and I think he went to a good situation because the Bears could have always used a quarterback like him with his physical tools. Trey Lance, I always felt like a quarterback where he had a lot of things that he can bring with him, but he needed to go to the right system. And I think the 49ers was the perfect system for him. So that's why I think that, and I'm not just being a homer. I do really think that he's going to be really successful here. with everything that he brings to the table because of the system that Shanahan draws up, seeing what the 49ers have done in the past, seeing the type of players they drafted in this draft and where they can potentially go. I talked about Ricky Waters and Terrell Davis back in the days and the offenses that they played in, the bootlegs, the rollouts, the mobile quarterbacks, the strong arm quarterbacks, the athletic quarterbacks, and now you see Trey Lance in there, and it's just oozing of all of that. So I'm excited to see that. He's in the perfect situation to be super successful. So I think the play is going to translate to this to what the 49ers are trying to do. So super excited about that. Um, any other thoughts on Trey Lance for you?
No, I think we made the right pick there at number
Okay,
3, and it couldn't go any better.
awesome. What's your favorite pick out of all the 49ers draft picks? What's your favorite pick
My favorite pick in the draft
outside of
outside of
outside
Trey
of
Lance,
Trey Lance?
it's got to be Sermon or Ambry Thomas.
Okay. Well, what do you like about Ambry Thomas?
I just like how he's just probably one of the fastest guys that we have in that cornerback room. He's not like as tall as a Kello or Sherman, but he's like 6 foot. That's still good size. I think he can stick on to any wide receiver you put him against,
Okay.
and he can play the ball really well as he was a former wide receiver.
Yeah, that's something I didn't know until you told me. But when I went back and watched film of him, I saw super athletic catches, and he didn't look like a cornerback when trying to catch the ball. And then when you told me that he came in as a wide receiver, I was like, oh, there it is. That's why he catches the. That's why he attacks the ball like that. That's how a wide receiver attacks the ball. So I think that's awesome because we definitely need playmaking, turnover, making players in the secondary. So that's pretty awesome. What do you like about Sermon?
I think he just brings something different to the running back room. He's bigger. He's bigger than all the guys we already have. He also has. I think he has great vision. He can cut really well, find the holes, and I think it takes a lot to take him down.
Okay. Yeah, definitely
He's
like all
like.
those
I think
traits
he's
about
like
him.
a. He's a bigger. I don't know. Maybe faster, like stronger. Play that like type role.
Yeah. Definitely, I think he is definitely more of a Jeff Wilson. Like I said, he reminds me of Ricky Waters back in the day. So just excited to see all that stuff. One of my favorite players at running back coming into the draft was Elijah Mitchell. So when they drafted Elijah Mitchell, I was super excited because I love the way he just runs, and it seems like he just runs away from players, and he's hard to bring down. He's never taken down on the first hit. And then when I went back to watch more of his film, I saw a lot of Terrell Davis and reminded me of Mike Shanahan's Broncos back in the day. So that was super exciting. What's one of your, I mean, what do you think is what's one of your least favorite picks out of all the 49ers picks?
Out of all the 49ers picks, I think my least favorite player chosen was Talanoa Hufanga, which confused me when we first picked him. And from what I've heard today, he wasn't really that great. And especially adding on top of that, all of his injuries in college.
How do you feel about a lot of people saying that he might be the steal of the draft for the Niners?
I mean, I have to disagree because, I mean, how are you going to play him when we already have guys like that on the team?
Yeah.
Like, you right now you're just expecting him really to be just like a special teams guy, which he aims to be like an all pro bowler guy, but I don't think he's going to be a steal.
I think you're right. I think he's going to be a special teams guy, and hopefully he's a pretty darn good one. I see him just special teams and maybe like a role player in the future. But if he develops into a starter, that'll just be a pleasant surprise. However, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he was all college, but I mean, all college player. But I think in the pros, like, if we look at linebacker, he's too small. If we look at safety, he's not fast enough. And I think he's just going to kind of be a tweener type. um, Pro Bowler type. And I hope, like I said, I hope he becomes like a great Pro Bowler. That would be, if he does, I think that fifth round pick would be an A plus type of pick. So, um,
I think we already have too much experience with tweeners like Eric Reed,
yeah,
all those
and
guys.
tweeners and injured players. But I mean, he's on the team and they drafted him. So I'm just saying, if he becomes that, I'll accept it. But yeah, I mean, I definitely wanted to stay away from like often injured players and stuff like that. But anyways, like I hope he becomes something. He's on our team, but am I expecting it much? Probably not too much. So, um, what about, the schedule came out this week, right? The NFL schedule, and we have the 49ers schedule. What are some of your favorite games on the schedule?
My favorite games on the schedule have, or right now, have got to be the Week 3 primetime game at home against the Packers and the two away games, Week 8 and Week 11 against the Bears and Jaguars, because hopefully you get to see like Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and Trey Lance and Trevor Lawrence play against each other.
I'm
So it'll
definitely
be pretty
intrigued
fun.
by Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued by those rookie matchups. Definitely like to see where our quarterback stands. I think that both those quarterbacks will be pretty good, but I think that our quarterback will be just as good. So definitely to see that, because it's always good to see. It's always good for them to play on the same field as their direct competition and see where they stand. And so I'm excited for those games. I think the Packers game, though, I expect it to go back to what it was before, because we're not going to have, hopefully we don't have the uh, false negative COVID test. Hopefully we don't have all the injuries, and then we can just go back to dominating him, because I mean, Raheem Mostert's their daddy, right? So the daddy's got to own the game when the time comes, and I'm excited about that. I think it's just going to be a win, but it should still be a fun game. It is a primetime game, so definitely excited about that. One of my favorite games on the schedule is the Colts game. It's the good thing is that it's also the first game after our bye week. It's a primetime game, and I like the storylines of that game because it's going to be DeForest Buckner coming back home. Maybe by that time you might have the two North Dakota State quarterbacks going against each other. I also expect the Colts to be a pretty darn good team too. So we'll see how it goes, but that's also one of my favorite games on the schedule. Um, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. The Colts game is really intriguing. Having Defoe and Carson Wentz, hopefully he's having a better year this year, come to the Bay and play.
Definitely.
And Frank Reich, he's probably one of like my favorite guys in the league at
Okay,
head coach.
that's pretty good. Yeah, so I think we got some good games on here. It's gonna be fun to watch, and we're gonna try to catch a couple of these games. So hopefully, we get a chance to catch a couple of these games. What do you think about based on the schedule? What do you think might be our record at the end of the year?
Uh, I'm expecting, well, like all the predictions, I'm expecting like 12 to 13 wins because with the way the season played out last year, we're getting a easier schedule. So yeah,
I think we have one of the easiest schedules in the league, and as you look through that, you can definitely see that. And I think I'm kind of around where you are. I'm expecting 13 to 14 wins this year. I see a couple of games in it that are 50-50 games. We always play our divisional opponents they always play us pretty tough. So I would say 50-50 games would be the Seahawks, the Cardinals game. So I think that we might win one and lose one. And then there might be potentially a trap game here or there, because we do have some teams that I could potentially see, like myself, I would overlook, because in between they're sandwiched in
the
between two
Falcons
good
again.
teams. So I mean, potentially the Falcons there. You have potentially Minnesota's got a pretty good offense there. I mean, there's a couple of those teams. I don't expect to lose to any of those teams, but there's always that potential. I think
Because even if you do lose against those teams, that's what. 4 losses and
Yeah, three,
still
four losses. So
13 wins.
yeah, so 17 game season there. That's why I'm saying, I can see 13, 14 wins. If that happens, that means we're in pretty good playoff position. So I hope that this year we play at SoFi Stadium 3 times this year. That'd be pretty darn cool. We're going to be playing the Chargers in the preseason. We're going to play the Rams and hope that we have one game in the playoffs, and hopefully that's the last game of the year. And I think that that'd be awesome. I mean, we'll see what happens, but we can always hope for that, right? So, um, yeah, I think we're on similar tracks. I think we got between 12 to 14 wins between what we think. So I'm excited about the season. And we're gonna bring to you our thoughts on as more practices happen, more camps happen. Our thoughts on the players, the rookies, the free agents, our team. We're also gonna bring to you what we think about the 49ers franchise going into the season and going forward as well in the future. And hopefully we get a chance to bring some outside topics such as the draft, maybe some insight on other teams, stuff like that. So those are some of the things that we hope to bring to you guys. Other than that, anything else to add, Evan?
No,
No. Okay. Well,
not much.
thanks for joining. What was that?
Not much.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for joining and hope you guys enjoy the conversation.